extraordinary evolutionary potential. Jude integrates leading-edge science, consciousness research, and universal wisdom teachings to create a holistic worldview. Her work aims to enable transformational and emergent resolutions to our collective planetary issues, raising awareness and empowering fundamental change and sustainable solutions to global problems. Today, Jude is joining me to discuss embodying higher consciousness and the pivotal role of conscious living in creating a sustainable and flourishing future. We'll also have a super rare sneak peek at these incredible new programs we're unveiling just in the coming days. We've never done this before. We always wait until the unveil to talk about a program. We're going to talk about two programs here in just a few minutes that we haven't even unveiled yet, so get ready. So, Jude, thank you for coming to me at tea time in Britain. Geez, you know, you had to give up tea time to be here live with me today, so I really appreciate it, and I'm so looking forward to these topics we're going to jump in and start discussing. Oops, okay, now, this is a live program, so there are going to be some tech issues. We did just lose, there we go. Audio's back, okay. We can hear you now, Jude.
I had Mike mass panic then when I couldn't unmute myself. It's just a joy. It's always a joy to be with Humanity's team and this incredible community. You know, this growing conscious community. And we were just talking, guys, before we came on air, what we feel is going to be an incredibly exciting year for us all in terms of linking up and lifting up together and moving forward together. So, Steve, thank you again.
Oh, gosh, my pleasure. Yes, in 2023, this is a big, big year for us, and maybe viewers, you can feel this too. We are really, there's a lot happening right now when we talk about the conscious journey. We've mentioned before this whole unitive narrative that an organization that Jude and I belong to called Evolutionary Leaders has embraced. Hundreds and hundreds of leaders all over the world. Jude actually was one of the architects of the unitive narrative, and this is all, of course, Humanity's team when launched in 2003. We're all one. This was the big announcement, and we created a Global Oneness Summit. And so we're, and this is just one thing. We could actually speak to other evidence of this wave that's coming in, this conscious wave, and none too soon, because we can see extreme weather and other things going on out in the world, and this is really our moment to pivot into this whole new way of living consciously. So with that said, let's jump into this. I was sharing how excited we are, Jude, with this unbelievable new program. It hasn't even been unveiled. We'll unveil it in coming days. It's called Embodying Higher Consciousness, a New Way of Living on the Earth. It's a free 60-minute program. It's with Jude Caravan and Andrew Harvey. I'm the host of the program. And wow, our team, I was sharing with Jude, only halfway being facetious. They are swinging from the rafters in this program. The energy, oh my God, that Jude and Andrew bring to this program as they're talking about embodying higher consciousness, its importance, bringing tools to people. It's a free program. It's astounding. So we're going to go, actually, in fact, let's do this. Let's go look at a clip real quick from the program, and then Jude and I are going to come back and talk about this program. So here we go.
Well, I just ask us to consider a river. You know, a river flows from the highlands to the sea. If we go into a river, we can either swim against its flow or we can swim with its flow. And it seems to me that as a species, we've been pretty hard swimming against the flow of our planetary home and the entire cosmos for quite a long time. And it's very easy, actually, to just turn around and choose to go with the flow of life itself. So when I speak of aligning with our planetary home, I'm actually even larger than that, because we now know that our universe exists and evolves as a unified entity. It meaningfully exists to purposefully evolve from simplicity to complexity. So we're part of that process. The universe's evolutionary impulse is flowing through us. And if we open ourselves joyously to enable that to happen, we can literally consciously evolve to be conscious co-evolutionary partners with the evolutionary impulse of our planetary home Gaia and our entire universe. That's what I mean, to align, attune and align. And what a wonderful time. And I'm so thrilled to be with Andrew and all of us together, because Andrew's wisdom is so profound in this process of literally turning around and waking up and healing and going through this emergent birth canal of a new humanity and a sacred journey to our conscious evolution.
Okay, and I love that metaphor you're bringing in, a river and this notion of flow, because boy, it's hard not to grasp what you're talking about here, aren't you?
Absolutely. There's an ancient wisdom teaching that says, don't try and hold on to the banks. And often we sort of cling on to the banks.
Right.
And now, we are all in the river, whether we are aware of it or not, whether we like it or not. And in my experience, literally going with the flow of it, this is the universe flowing through us. This is the invitation of the universe to show up and be, consciously embody ourselves as its microcosmic co-creators. To wake up, to realize, to remember that we are inseparable from its evolutionary impulse and flow. And I tell the story sometimes of my own life, where I've hung on so much to what no longer serves me that I've only let go when the pain of holding on is worse than the pain of letting go. And when I've let go, the universe has met me, held me, nurtured me, guided me, invited me into this incredible and ongoing flow, this journey of our conscious evolution. And so I'm just delighted to all be here together. And I hope for all of us on this call and listening to us are open, heart open, to answering the invitational call of this evolutionary journey.
Yes, it's so important. And we were sharing here that this pivot into this shift is happening. And of course, that's why viewers are here. We're on the conscious journey, but we're also all deepening ourselves into this journey. There's no end here to this journey. There's no there. It's a constant journey. There's a constant deepening. And the beautiful thing about this moment is your book, which we'll talk about in a second, and this free program, a masterclass that follows it, we'll talk about here in a moment. These are all just sharing the science, the research, and these key themes that you're bringing in here right now, that we are a part of this universal unfolding, and it started with a big breath, not a big bang, that the cosmos is in harmony, that it's non-dual. And as we know, we talk about on this program, there are other scientists, Nassim Harriman and Greg Braden and Lynn McTaggart and Dean Radden and, my God, on and on, Eben Alexander. There are many other scientists, ions, who've made it their work, right? To bring in this research that shares that we can walk with incredible posture, knowing, my God, we're an inseparable part of the cosmos. The cosmos couldn't be without us. We're actually here with our own diversity, our own gift, our own things that we're to bring into this life that are supporting life around us. I love, people often share what you were just bringing in here that's so important too, Jude, that sometimes, pain pulls us until we finally get to a place where we release and let go, and then we go into the flow, and then we go, why was I holding on to that bank in the first place? How was that serving me?
Yeah, exactly. It's that, we have these comfort blankets of pain. It's what we're familiar with. It's what we're familiar with. And yet I think the more of us that can sort of go with the flow in this way, the more we can share, not impose in any way, but share and invite others to join this incredible journey of conscious evolution. And this is where we're on. This is the journey we're all on. But I think the other thing that you mentioned, Steve, is really key. This scientific evidence is no longer an outlier. More and more and more evidence is coming forward now that really does ground us. It's showing that unity is not an ideal. As I think our mutual dear friend, Dr. Julie Kroll said, it's real. It's our existential reality. And so the more that we can breathe into that awareness, the more we can breathe into, as you say, it's unity expressed in diversity. When I do that, when I have done that over many years, something even deeper has happened. I've found that I've moved from a sense of unity expressed in diversity to unity expressed as inclusion. And then I've settled deeper and deeper and deeper into a felt sense of belonging. That I don't need to ask anybody's permission, that I belong. I'm a co-creator, I'm a microcosmic co-creator of our entire universe's unfolding flow, and I belong. And what I'm sensing is that the more we share this understanding, the more we can invite experience of it, the more we can actually all of us settle into that knowing that we belong with each other, with our beloved planetary home guide, and the whole world. And belonging for me is just such a deep, deep, deep sense of wholeness and joy.
Yes.
And gratitude.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it is. And gratitude and belonging and peace and grace and blessing, and where we know that we are inseparable. And then as we do this, as we know, what was also shared by many is, and then we become this light worker that we desire to be, where there's this whole veil, right? On the other side, Humanities Team has these programs, many of them with mediums, talented mediums and things, about the lifting of the veil. And that there's unbelievable support right now on the other side of the veil that's supporting this shift, this pivot into conscious living. And where we do what Jude is describing and settle into this place of knowing and of belonging and of real gratitude for being here in service, then these afterlife forces can work through us. We can actually become a healer and an alchemist. This is what this whole process of conscious living is, where we're feeling into a future that we're actually creating. That we actually are real healers, real alchemists, where we know ourselves to be that, right? It's all, our minds are controlling everything. And where our minds can settle there, we can be incredibly powerful in our homes, but more than our homes, in the whole world, as we put our mind to the Ukraine, as we put our mind to this planet that needs our attention, etc. So, and and just the one other thing I was going to say, existential reality, of course, that means ultimate reality, right? So, and this is the thing where I look back to my early years, where I wasn't necessarily considering all of these conscious kinds of considerations. So we were actually living in this whole Einstein thing about this optical delusion, right? Where everything appears separate. Our ultimate reality is it is separate. It's separate. You know, these people are separate. The divine is separate. The earth is separate. We're living in a reality of separation. And oh my God! Now contrast that to what Jude is talking about in this place of belonging, where we're living into the true ultimate reality, not a optical delusion. It's huge.
It is huge. And Steve, you mentioned there about, you know, the communications with consciousness, with folks and consciousness that have transitioned, that have passed over. And for me, the sort of the illusion of separation, one of the deepest traumas of that is the fear of death. And when we realize that the sort of the end of our earth walk is not the end of us, is not the end of our consciousness, and we have so much evidence for that, that shows us that our loved ones, love doesn't die. That when we pass over, our consciousness remains. And you know, my experience over nearly 70 years of, my mum used to say I'd talk with anybody. she didn't really know exactly who I was talking with. But it involved a lot of folks who passed, but it also involved many, many different levels of multidimensional consciousness. So we're not just now realizing that we can continue to communicate with folks who have passed over, but we can also now naturalize the multidimensional communications, which can offer us such incredible wisdom and guidance, whether it be angels, elemental or devic realms, extraterrestrials, archetypal, ascended masters, whatever it may be. And I've been fortunate enough, never in my life experience, to be shut down from those incredibly enriching conversations and guidance. And it seems to me now that, and with the evidence we have, that's converging with universal wisdom teachings, indigenous wisdom teachings, it's giving us the grounding, it's giving us the underpinning. If we choose to open ourselves up, to invite us into this much grander, multi-dimensional community of life, of consciousness, that is the story of our universe and is the story of us.
Yeah, so very important. And right now, we're unveiling just in days, embodying higher consciousness. The program that we're actually in right this moment in Humanity's Team is this whole program called Cosmic Forces, Creating a Whole New Future. It's with Suzanne Giesman and Patricia Cota-Robles, and it's doing exactly this, where they're taking you through the steps to lift the veil and to be in touch with loved ones, with the divine, with archangels, angels, with all of these other realms that are here at our disposal. Instead of just walking around, choosing our path on our own, we've got these resources. They're here. We actually all have guides, is what they share. And there's a fairly simple process that we can learn in our meditation and prayer to connect with those guides, with the afterlife. It's an unbelievably powerful program. If you haven't spent any time with Cosmic Forces, Creating a Whole New Future, you really want to do that because the tools here are enormous for this whole conscious journey. We were never intended to just live on this side of the veil. The veil was intended to be lifted, and that's another thing that's exciting. There's so many developments on this front. Wayne Dyer, that he's all these things that are happening in the afterlife, his own kids that are coming on another program of ours, Life After Death, with the Dyer kids, Sage and Serena's two younger daughters, also Karen Noe, a very talented medium, where they're sharing, again, bringing in a very specific example of Wayne Dyer that wrote a book through Karen Noe. And its first and most important message, the unitive narrative, we are all one.
Absolutely.
So, this ship, when we're talking about coming into 2023, and it really, it feels good and there's a lot happening. We're not kidding, are we, dear Jude?
We're certainly not kidding. and it's such a joyous journey. This is what I'm so excited about. I know when Andrew and I got together with Steve that you're mentioning, our joy, I think, spilled over because we're so excited to be sharing this with everyone. And we're so excited for everyone who is, as so many of us are, waking up to remember we're inseparable. And then what? Because now what is we can link up and lift up together. I know for many folks, it can be a lonely journey. It doesn't need to be that anymore. In fact, the universe is inviting us and saying, hey, join the party, welcome, because this is such an incredible moment of transformational change. It's challenges. It's got many, many challenges. But if we can consider it rather more than, instead of a crisis, a metamorphosis, a transformation in us personally and us collectively, in our relationships with ourselves, each other, Gaia, the whole world. I mean, what a moment. What an incredible opportunity and what an amazing invitation.
Yes, boy, this brings to mind Barbara Marx Hubbard, Our Crisis is a Birth. We're birthing this whole new understanding that where there's one consciousness and we're all a beautiful lens. There are 8 billion of us here on the earth that are our own frame, our own lens, our own diversity, our own participation in that one consciousness. Yes, and it's beautiful when we turn it around and see this age of consciousness which is what this is. It's no longer the information age. That was long past. Now it's the age of consciousness where we're really understanding, and through quantum physics, where the Nobel Prize is given to scientists based on entanglement, that's a stepping stone in the direction of this whole unitive narrative and oneness thing that we're talking about. Okay, let's shift gears and go now. So Andrew and Jude, their program called Embodying Higher Consciousness, A New Way of Living on the Earth. It's a free program. It's amazing. Stay tuned on social media and an email. You're going to see a lot about this new free program just in the coming days. Now, for people then that want to go deeper, there's a masterclass they created, a 16-module masterclass. It's called Sacred Journey of Conscious Evolution, Regenerating Yourself and the World Through Science and Divinity. This is the very first time that we've announced this program. So the unveiling, hooray. Quite a moment, huh, Jude? And what a blast creating this with you and Andrew, where you all were distilling your wisdom down, and there's so much of it. Andrew Harvey is just like Jude Curvin. He's astounding. First time we've done a masterclass with Andrew Harvey. So that also is a very exciting enterprise, is it not, Jude?
It surely is. I mean, for those of you who don't know Andrew, he's the most incredible force of nature. It's just extraordinary, and his wisdom is very, very profound, because not only does he have very deep understanding of the unified nature of reality, but also the experiential and the embodiment of that. And what he speaks to is a very human journey. He's a great scholar, he's a great student of Rumi. And of course, Rumi, perhaps more than any other poet that I'm aware of, really lived his truth and really lived this understanding of what we go through as human beings. Where we're participants in life with all that life brings. So I was just delighted to be invited along with Andrew to sort of, really come together and show how this convergence of science and spirituality is also offering us a path, a journey of regeneration. You mentioned birth earlier on, and Barbara's perspective of this being a birth process. Well, this is exactly how Andrew and I will both see it as well.
Yeah, and what an amazing program. Let's go take a look. We've got a 2-minute clip here from this new masterclass, Sacred Journey of Conscious Evolution. Let's go take a look, and then Jude and I will come back and talk some more about it.
Leading-edge scientific discoveries and breakthroughs are revealing evidence at all scales of existence, from the most minute to the mightiest scale of our entire universe, and across many different fields of research, not just of what we might refer to as the natural world, such as cosmology and planetary science, down to the smallest atomic scales and quantum scales, but also research into complex systems, including human collective behaviors, are turning the old paradigm of science, of a material universe, a universe of separation, on its head. The old paradigm is one that tells us that our universe began 13.8 billion years ago in the implied chaos of the Big Bang. That since then its evolutionary journey has continued almost randomly, accidentally, and with lack of meaning and no inherent purpose to its existence and evolution. And a worldview that also shares that consciousness is something that gradually and almost again accidentally arises when a certain level of complexity is reached, and with consciousness and mind arising from materiality. This is the worldview that we've been born into. This is the worldview that most, if not all of us, are taught at school. And this worldview is now being seen as being fundamentally flawed. And it's not to blame, it's not to go back and say we should have thought this or that should have happened. We've come a long way in our story as human beings, as a human species. And along that way, we've taken routes that have enabled us to see deeper and further out into the world progressively than before. And yet along the way, sometimes our deeper wisdom, an inherent wisdom that in our hearts has known that we're not separate, nonetheless has been peripheralized from that leading edge of science with all good intention to delve deeper into the nature of reality itself.
Okay, yeah, and so next week is the unveiling of these two programs, the free program, Embodying Higher Consciousness, a New Way of Living on the Earth, with Jude Curvan, Andrew Harvey, and then the 16-module masterclass, Sacred Journey of Conscious Evolution, Regenerating Yourself and the World Through Science and Divinity. So look for that next week. So very exciting. And Jude, since we're kind of putting presents on the table here, let's put another gift on the table. You created with us also another brand new 16-module masterclass.